Classroom Crisis is an anime designed to divide audiences. It has multiple genres, surprisingly little story, and episodes which range from amazing to average. I have noticed that some reviewers, including myself, have begun watching Classroom Crisis and thought it was boring, so they let it go, only to return to it after episodes 5 or 6 or 7, realizing it's worth watching. Well, I can tell you that this anime is worth watching, and even though there is the odd bland episode here and there, the rest of Classroom Crisis is very cinematic, to say the least. So, what is Classroom Crisis? Depending on which characters you like the most, it's either a mecha anime from the perspective of the mech project's engineers, or a mecha anime from the perspective of the mech project's executives. The classroom refers to a bunch of young people who study engineering in the morning, then engineer a rocket in the afternoon. One of the new students is an executive of the classroom, whilst also being a student within the classroom. That's not awkward at all! Do you like Mizuki and Iris, the two girls who really like each other for some unknown reason? Seriously though, Mizuki is really optimistic and Iris has no soul. Then you might like the scenes which focus on those two and their fellow engineers. Do you like Nagisa, the young and cold executive who's trying to take the classroom down? Then you might like the politics side of this anime, as Nagisa deals with his superiors overseeing the classroom's existence. And if you like Sarah and Angelina, the classroom's two teachers, then you might like the comedy side of this anime. So yeah, there are a lot of genres in this anime, and I haven't even begun to talk about the science fiction and romance elements. My favourite character is Angelina. Oh my goodness, she is by far the most interesting and entertaining character of the whole cast, to the point where she makes the other cast members look dull in comparison. And in fact, apart from maybe Iris, who was always making me wonder why she's so soulless, the other cast members are pretty generic. There's not a single student in the classroom that is interesting, as that group of people, they're really just there to be window dressing so that the anime could actually be called Classroom Crisis. Angelina is an accountant who is also an angry ninja. Isn't that cool? I appreciate some people find Angelina annoying, but I think she is the saving grace of this anime. She is the main reason I got back into this anime in the first place after I initially dropped it after that boring as hell first episode. Angelina, in my opinion, is the main reason to watch Classroom Crisis. I was not a fan of Nagisa, even though he did something good for the classroom once in a blue moon. His good deeds are so subtle that in the end I just did not care about him, and the few episodes which starred him came across as empty as a result. I also wouldn't have minded if some of the window dressing members of the classroom were actually given some development. I wanted to know if that one character was actually a lesbian. I wanted to know why that character is an accountant. I wanted to know why that character is so good with computers and so on. There were too many pointless characters within the classroom. Heck, there is an episode where most of them leave the classroom, and had that plot element followed through, actually, then there would be more time to develop all the remaining few characters. Come to think of it, none of the characters really got any development outside of Iris, which is a shame, as heavy character development would have worked within this anime. In terms of story, I mentioned that this anime is a kind of mecha, but from the perspective of the engineers and executives instead of the pilots. But strangely enough, that interesting and surprisingly original concept is never fully followed through. I learned nothing about engineering a mech outside how to break a machine, and I learned nothing about the politics of making a mech other than that making a mech is an expensive and time-consuming thing to do? These are things that most people already know about. Would it have hurt to include some interesting facts about engineering and political philosophy instead of showing us basic ideas like test piloting and betrayal? And this anime does put a lot of focus on the politics side of engineering and mech, which is unfortunately led by Nagisa, and all of that kind of distracted me from the more interesting engineering side of the anime. There's even lots of focus on general elections of political parties for some reason, which is kind of pointless when you think about the overall engineering concept of the anime. Thank goodness the writers smartly decided to separate the engineering side from the politics side of the anime, as those two elements obviously do not mix. And why is there a forced romance between Mizuki and Nagisa? I did not buy their love, because I did not want to see those two build a romantic, non-platonic bond. There's not even a moment early on in the anime where they stare lovingly into each other's eyes. There's nothing like that. This anime did not need a romance element. So, if Classroom Crisis has characters that never really develop, and a story that has no clear focus, why did I get genuinely excited to watch each episode, each airing week? What, besides Angelina and maybe the concept, are the main draws for this anime? Well, while some enjoyed the politics side of this anime, I liked the writing of this anime. The first 4 episodes of Classroom Crisis are a mess, they're bland, and they really didn't show the direction this anime was going in. But then, episode 5 happens. Episode 5 is one of the best episodes because it finally exposes what this multi-genre, weekend character and story anime is actually about, and that is the writing. Episode 5 not only had good dialogue, good comedy and good intrigue, but it also had a very cinematic feel. By that I mean, the episode, despite it being 25 or so minutes long, it felt like a full 90-minute movie. Why? Because the writing was really, really good. The episode progressed well, and the pacing made the episode seem longer than it actually is in a good way. Classroom Crisis is actually an exercise in how to create cinematic anime via high quality animation and writing. When you forget about the anime as an anime and you think about it in terms of its scripting, Classroom Crisis suddenly becomes great, and there's many episodes which are very cinematic, like episode 5. The anime really works when it turns into an action thriller, feature-length movie with Angelina taking the lead. Those episodes are episodes 7, 10 and 12. The best episodes. Just watch those episodes, pay attention to how they are written, and ask yourself if those episodes feel like entertaining feature-length films. If you're interested in writing for the screen, Classroom Crisis is definitely for you. That's probably why this anime divides people. Some just look at its shallow surface, and some look at its deep behind-the-scenes thought process. I looked at the deep behind-the-scenes thought process, and I ended up being very entertained by Classroom Crisis as a result. If it had more focus and character development and made Nagisa a likable character, then Classroom Crisis would have been elevated to pure greatness. Unfortunately, there is the odd boring episode which prioritizes Nagisa, and the politics sometimes distracted me too much from the initial engineering concept. A concept which could have educated me, but it did not. The only thing I learned from Classroom Crisis is how to write an entertaining anime, and thankfully the high quality animation managed to work with the high quality writing. Let's hope the second season of Classroom Crisis actually focuses and develops the concept of engineering and mech. Surely that was the point of this anime. 3 stars out of 5.